All right, welcome back. Speak like a champ. Just remember abiolachamp.com. You get all the juicy details. Away from all of that, right now we'll be looking at a long distance relationship. I'm in Lagos. My spouse is in the UK.
Canada.
Is in Abuja. Is in Port Harcourt. Just how do we manage this? Should it be like this? How long should it be before we can be together? We're looking at all of that issue right now on the show, and we have our guest with us here.
Exactly, of course. Permit me to say this is someone I've known for a very long time, so you can be assured that he is a personality, or would I say he is someone who is actually well learned when it comes to this. We have in the house Jimmy Odukoya, a relationship coach and a public figure. Good morning,
Hi,
PJ.
good morning.
Good to have you again.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. Good to be back.
Okay, I'm so particular about this topic because I want to help the Ministry of Justice. I told him to join the League of Married People.
Okay.
So I'm sure he's going to be taking a whole lot of notes today. We're looking at distance, long distance relationship.
Right.
I mean, some people say it works, and some say it may not work. And some people think marriage or relationship is just about we meeting emotional needs and that's all. And some people think, okay, I'm of age, let me get involved with someone. But when we talk about long distance relationship, how beneficial is it?
I think it can be beneficial if you got to be in a long distance relationship. I think the two things are important. There has to be the commitment, and you have to have that maturity. So maturity and commitment. Because a lot of times people base relationships, those who don't really know what it takes, and tells them their feelings and feeding off the person. See, long distance, it forces you because of distance to communicate. And communication means that you're spending more time talking as opposed to hanging around or getting physical or having that cuddle, or, you know, it forces you to engage them on a mental level. And when you do that, it's the positive side of it. It helps you get to know the person better because of your situation. You have no choice but to talk. That's all you can do is talk, which is very healthy for a relationship. Communication is very important. The maturity aspect of it is, and the commitment part of it is, you're committed to the person, and so you buy into who they are. You connect to them on a deeper level that says, you know what, I'm with you not because of what I see or because of what I can feel or touch. I'm with you because of who you are. And so that means that it will take certain times, based on how long you're away for. I'm committed to learning you, knowing you, committing myself to the process of having to, you know, intentionally communicate, because that's all we have to sustain the relationship, you know. So it takes commitment and maturity.
But do you think it's healthy, particularly for married couple?
For a married couple, is it healthy? Well, let's say long distance, I say, has its pros and cons. So, well, let's talk about single people first. The pros are, like I said, you learn the person. You have no choice but to connect to them on a deeper level, beyond the physical. The cons are because relationship in reality is two people existing together. Now, when you're in the same space, you have no choice but to adapt to each other within the same space. With long distance, it's almost like the best of both worlds, where you are in a relationship but the person is not in your space. So you are used to your individuality, you're used to doing things on your own time without having to worry about the other person, because the other person is on the other end of the phone. You know, so when you say bye, that's it. You know, but when they're here, you have to learn how to adapt, adjust, think about the other person, arrange your schedule around this person, especially if you're married. You know, they're in your space, and that's very important.
Okay, PJ, another thing right now is that some people don't actually get into long-distance relationship by choice, while some people actually do.
Right.
For instance, now you want to start a relationship, or maybe you met at some avenue, some forum, for some social gathering, and you guys just hit it, and you just want to take it to the next level, you just want to see if you make it work. But you found out that this person is not actually in your space, like you said. For instance, maybe there are miles and oceans apart, different countries, different continents. would you ordinarily just get into it knowing the person is not around you? Is it advisable?
It depends on the connection you have with the person. If you feel like this person, there's something about this person that I can't pass up and I want to get to know, I'm willing to invest my time, because that's what you're doing. You're investing your time and your emotions. If you say this person is with something about this person that makes me want to get to know her better and commit to her regardless of where she is, then go ahead, because then, like I said, you're at that mental, that place mentally where you can say, I am willing to commit to this person regardless of where she is, and whatever she's offering me or what I see in her trumps. It makes it worth it. It makes me sacrificing on not being able to hug her or see her every day, because what she has is worth me committing to. So it depends on the individual, and also you need to know yourself and be honest. Can you commit to a person that's not in your space? And that's the maturity I'm talking about as well. Are you somebody that needs to be able to hold your person or go out on dates and see them physically to make you feel like you're in a relationship? Are you somebody that can commit to the person and not, just because they're not here does not give you the license to act a fool and cheat and go around and do other things because they're not in your space? Do you have enough respect for that person to say, I am with you, and so I'm committed to you, mind, body, and soul? And you're willing to make it work, you know. So again, you have to be honest with yourself as well, because some people can't handle not being in the same space with people.
Okay, so if it's for single people and then they stay oceans apart, like he said, how long do you think, how long will be healthy enough for you to date to know this person, to think you can actually take it further, maybe into marriage?
You know, I don't know if there's one answer for that, because people have different answers. Some people say 2 years, some people say 5 years. You know, some people did it in 1 year, you know, and they're happily married. Some people waited 5 years and are divorced today. I think the truth of the matter is, for being honest, you never really know a person. You know, I think the more you learn and adapt within, and the scenarios and the environments changes, you see different sides to different people. So I think for you as an individual, when you realize, I think when you get to that place where you feel like you are mentally ready for marriage, and a lot of people are not mentally prepared. They like the idea of marriage, but they don't know what it really takes to be married. When you're ready to say, you know what, I'm willing to put this person ahead of me, when I'm ready to be selfless, it's never about me anymore, and make this person my focus, and am I willing to forgive and to be empathetic and to sacrifice and to be forgiving and you know, all the things that come with being in a relationship. When you feel like you're ready to commit to that one person, am I willing to take on the responsibility of being a provider if you're a man, you know, financially, or providing security for her, even emotionally, you know, all the things, because it's never about you, it's about the other person. And you feel like you've gotten to that point, and you say, you know what, I think I'm ready, and you've had the conversation, there's an agreement within the spouse that, you know what, if we go this way, you're coming this way, or I'm coming that way, and you get to that place, then all well.
But then again, what if there's been a marriage, in the process, and children are now involved, and now you just have to be apart, you know? How do you handle this, specifically when the children are still growing up, and how, I mean, what are the impact of all of this on the children?
Well, depending on the scenario, I know some people who, because they have kids, you know, they want their kids to school abroad, or maybe they're young boarding school, so one spouse actually relocates to be on that side. Obviously, it's a decision that has come to by both parties. They both decided this is what they want to do. And so for the sake of the health of their relationship, both parties have to be very intentional about staying connected. Now, we're lucky that we live in an age of time where technology has made that very easy. I remember when my wife went to go have our baby, she was gone for a while. But because we had FaceTime, Skype, video calling, talking, it was easy to make sure that we were still connected in each other's lives. So she knew what was happening all through my day. I knew what was happening all through her day. So there has to be that intentional decision to stay connected and make sure the other person, although they're far away, they still feel like they know what's happening. Gone are the days when you had to go and line up in ITEL to make international calls, you know. We can do that from the privacy of our home with data. So when that happens, and if it's a decision where both of them decide this is what we need to do for the sake of our kids, or for, you know, you want to go have kids, or, you know, for the sake of our relationship, well, maybe my work is taking me here. You have to be intentional to plan. Okay, how often are we seeing each other? When are you coming home? When am I coming to visit? How often do we talk every day? You need to be intentional to stay connected so the relationship just stays healthy.
Okay, given the rate of what do I call it now? The rate of crime going on now. I mean, there's this belief that it's not long about just the woman training the child or just the man. They need the two. These two. So, in a case where work takes you far and the wife has to be home or the wife has to go, do you not think that there should be a kind of yes, I agree that both of you must come to an agreement, but do you not think that the distance shouldn't be that much? There should be probably a long-term plan where you definitely have to come back.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like I said, it should have been discussed where it's like, okay, we're doing this for 2 years or we're doing this for 3 years. Now, if we're doing this for the length of our child's education, we might be 5, 6 years through secondary school, and this is what we have to do. Even within those times that you are apart, there must be scheduled times, even in those times where you are going. If it's like, okay, darling, you come home 3 times, or you come home once every 3 months, or I go to you once every 5 months, depending obviously of the financial abilities of
But
the
then
couple.
again, how long is so long? What happened in a case where just because of maybe travel papers and document and all of that, the guy ordinarily cannot come as much as he would want to come? Maybe they've not even had time to even see in 2, 3 years. Is this really healthy?
As long, you see, I think if you're dedicated to making anything work, it can work. Now, is it healthy? Is it ideal not to see your spouse for 3 years? No. However, if you're talking to your spouse every day on video call, where you see them, it's just a beautiful thing where you can see them. Now, you're not staying apart because you want to stay apart. Circumstances have forced you not to be able to go. But within that 3 years, I'm calling her every day. She's calling me every day.
Is that enough?
Sometimes, again, if you're committed to it, yes. Because if that's all you can do, and you say, I want to be with this person, you have committed yourself to them, then you will make it work. It will have to be enough till you can. You know, yes, you will miss them, but again, communication. If you're talking to her every day, if she's talking to you every day, you're used to it. She becomes part of your routine.
But that, with all the communication, with all the technology, can that, all of that, make up for the physical presence and physical contact?
No, it's always lovely to have the person with you. However, if circumstances have forced you to be this way, then you have to adapt to what circumstances has given you. If life gives you lemons, make lemonade. It's rather you can either say, you know what, you're not here, there's no point. You throw out the lemonade, you throw out the lemons, or you say, you're not here, but I'm going to talk to you, then make the best of it, and I make a lemonade. You say, so it obviously it's ideal to have the person with you. And here's the thing, sometimes people realize, again, there's the pros and cons. It's easier to deal with someone in a relationship when they're away, as opposed to when they're with you. Because then there's the reality of them being in your space. Those are the pros and cons. Because, like I said, it's the best of both worlds where you are in a relationship, but you are, quote unquote, single in your space. Because you don't have to worry about them being around you. They don't come into your house. Like even married couples, little things in the first year. So you like your room a certain way. You fold your clothes a certain way. You use your toothpaste. You squeeze it from the base. You have your thing arranged. Then wife comes into the picture. And she squeezes hers from the middle. And you fold it left, she folds it right. You put your clothes on the floor, she puts it on the bed. These are things that people fight about because they're like, this is how I like to do my thing. And then you must learn to adapt. Or wife uses your comb and you see hair on your comb. And it's like, oh my God, why, you know. These are the realities of being in a relationship when somebody is in your space. So these are the things that, you know, people have to deal with. So, and some people realize, you know what, I liked you better when I could say bye, hang up the phone, I am not there, as opposed to, so I strongly suggest before you say I do, there must be a time when you go to each other's spaces and actually see what life would be like if you were in a relationship in the same place. I think it's very important.
Okay, let's look at the position of the children now. The children whose parents are separated, not separated simply because of work. How do you expect them to position mentally? What would you suggest to kids like that? How do they balance life, seeing that one of their parents is not around?
I think before parents or families take that decision for long distance, they have to weigh all of these things. If your child is in the stage where they're developing and you feel like, you know what, you not being in the house physically does not impact or hamper them, all well and good. You know, however, if it's a time when you know that your child is asking about daddy, you know, I want to see daddy, I want to see mommy, and you guys decide whether because of work or circumstances, again, there must be an intentional decision to make sure that you supplement that gap, which means, okay, as a child, you know, daddy is not home, but we have scheduled 7 p.m. every day you speak to daddy.
Okay.
And so she comes home knowing that every day at 7 p.m. I get to see daddy for 30 minutes.
All
So
right.
she keeps looking. So it helps them, you know, based on the circumstance. So there has to be that intentional decision to create that balance where they don't fill the gap. Obviously, it's ideal. I don't think anybody wants to stay away from their kids. But if life, work, you know, then we have to make sure as a family we supplement to make sure that the children obviously will miss a physical presence, but they don't miss the presence of their...
Okay, we have some reactions here. This one is, he says his name is Abi. I've been with a lady for 3 years now, and we agreed to get married. But the problem is that I'm graduating from school next year, but she's working now. Presently, she is of the opinion that we get married living on her salary, and I don't have the wherewithal. Is this related to what we are discussing? Okay, I don't think I can take that. We're looking at long-distance relationship. If you have a question or comment, just keep it based on the subject matter. There are lots of feedbacks here. Good morning, Galaxy. I love your show on distance relationship. I'm home. I'm very sick. I just got into a relationship with a guy for 2 weeks now. He claims to love me, but each time I call just to hear his voice, he'll pick up and snappily tells me, I'll call you back. Yes, he wouldn't. He's been doing that for up to a week, and the day I tried to complain, he told me that I nag. I can't say anything now again. He calls me when he pleases. What do I do?
Well, obviously, if it's a situation where the person is in your same geographical location and he's not making time for you, obviously you should give an indicator of the person you're dealing with. There's a difference between somebody who talks to you on their spare time and somebody who makes out time to talk to you. Two different people, two different things entirely. So obviously, if the person is in your same geographical location and because you are homesick, he has not made any time for you. He doesn't call you. You call him, he dismisses you. Obviously, he's not placing value on you. And so it should help you re-evaluate, you know, how you see yourself, one, and two, if you want to be in a relationship where the person that you're with is clearly showing you signs that he does not value you or respect you the way he should. So my advice to her would be to evaluate your relationship. If he can't be attentive to you when you are sick, that's an indicator. If he only gives you attention when you are able-bodied and around, it's about good and bad times. And obviously he's someone that's a shallow weather or fair weather.
What about the place of finance now? Let me paint a scenario here, where a case where the husband had to travel abroad just to seek greener pastures so he can take care of the family in a better way. But then again, he's insisting that the lady should just take care of the kids and doesn't work. She shouldn't work, rather.
Okay.
So, I mean, and she feels she is bored most of the time and she needs to do something. And sometimes the stipends don't come maybe when they should come, and she feels she needs to supplement. How do you manage all of this?
Well, I mean, that's why communication is very important. My mom used to say that courting is a place for interview, not intercourse. Now, what I mean by that is, during the time when they were dating, this conversation should have come up. What kind of spouse do you want? Do you want a woman who is a stay-at-home wife or somebody who is independent, who works? And this way she would have told him, I'm a woman who likes to work. Yes, I'm married to you, but I don't believe in the whole stay-home philosophy. So if they didn't have the discussion, here she was thinking that she's going to go in and be that independent woman, that working woman who wants to be a wife and a working woman at the same time. And he comes and says, no, I want you to stay at home. First, it's like there's a disconnect. Now she's in that situation. And now she's at home and she doesn't feel fulfilled because she feels like there's so much I can do, and I'm sitting at home having to wait. And rather than use my gifts, my abilities to bring income to supplement, I think she needs to have that conversation with her husband. Because at the end of the day, what will happen is if she doesn't tell him, there's a likelihood that she's going to start to slowly resent him, because she'll begin to feel like you're not letting me be who I'm supposed to be or live to my fullest potential. And that frustration that begins to build, she begins to internalize it. And after a while, it will just come out as aggression or frustration or just impatience, because when the money doesn't come on time, it's like, well, if I was working, I won't have to put that pressure on you to bring money, and we have kids to take care of. Allow me to do what I need to do, so I can help our kids and help our family. So in that scenario, I would suggest that she strongly talk to her husband, to let him understand where she's coming from and what she feels like she needs to be fulfilled in the relationship. And hopefully he understands and he can see the reason behind it. And if he doesn't, then she has to get creative. Find ways to generate money from home. Start a catering business at home where you cook and people come and collect the food. Or this business where you cook and you get dispatch riders to go and deliver the food. Find ways. If there's a will, there's a way. Be maybe a temp assistant where you can work from home online, or editing, or look for ways around it where you can work without leaving your house. And so it's the best of both worlds to help the situation.
Another scenario right now would be a decision on who should be out of the country. For instance, an opportunity presents itself. A married couple with children, and they just feel that one person should be out there to seek this greener pasture. I don't know how green it is over there, But right now, should I go as the husband or should she go as the wife? Specifically, when the children are still young, who goes out?
Well, honestly, I think it's a decision for the couple to decide. Looking at my personal life, I mean, my daughter has both me and her mom. Her mom is very hands-on. She creates an environment where, she has fun, she looks at the details, spends time coloring, which is great for her. I'm more of the big picture. Is she okay? Is she fine? Let's get this, let's get that. So either way, if you look at it both ways, if there was without one, without the other, she would suffer in some area. But I think in that scenario, the couple has to sit down and decide who is better inclined to make it more successfully. Who is the better one in this field? Is it you or me? Who has better exposure? Who's traveled out of the country before? Who has more network? Who has more contacts? Who already has an established base there? Who is better inclined to adapt to new scenarios and environments? If it's the wife, and you say, you know what, babe, you're the better of the two. You go do it, hold it down for us. Hey. Or if it's the husband, says, you know what, this is what it is. But it's a conversation that the couple has to have and decide based on what are strengths, what are weaknesses, and who, in this scenario, who is the better foot in terms of putting your best foot forward? Who within us two is better positioned to make it more? So I think it comes down to the decision of the couple, and not always the man should go or always the woman should go. I think it differs depending on the couple.
Okay, let's bring in the case of in-laws now. If it's a young marriage where the man has to go or the woman has, more like if the man has to go, and then there's this idea of, I like my mom to stay with my wife. Or I like one of my siblings to stay with my wife.
Right.
All in the name of
supporting
it. Do you think it's advisable?
Again, depending on the relationship your wife has with her in-laws, one. Two, also depending on the relationship you have with your mom and your sister, to understand that yes, you're coming to my house, you're coming as a support, not to take over. You must understand that in the dynamics of marriage, who's the first number one is wife before mother and father, because as far as the Bible is concerned, you cleave to your wife. So she's number one, you're number one, everybody else is number two. So if you're going to have the arrangement and they have a good relationship, then it works, as long as it's been clearly defined. You as the man tell your wife, your mother or your sister, you're coming here to support, but my wife is the head of the house. She makes decisions. Obviously, if she's a respectful, wise in-law, she'll obviously carry mother along, accommodate sister. However, you can't come in and say, this is my son's house, this is my brother's house, and you want to become a problem or an issue. If you know there's that issue, obviously, then it's not advisable. But if they get along well, and there's none of that, and mother respects her place, sister respects her place, brother respects his place, wife is happy and has agreed to the arrangement, not that you are enforcing it on her and saying this is what must happen. If she's not in agreement, then there is a problem. If she's open to it, then all well and good, and the discussion has been had.
Okay, some people still believe, just to wrap up right now, some people still believe that there should be some sense of finality to it in the sense that if the man is over there, there should be a working plan over time so that everyone will be together eventually.
Yes.
Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. I think that there should always be a plan to this is what we're working towards. There's an end goal, there's a final destination. If it's ambiguous, where it's just in the air, whatever happens, happens, then obviously there's no drive, there's nothing you're working towards, and there is no anchor to hold down the relationship saying, you know what, this is where we're walking to, this is the destination we are going to. It's like we're going into a car and it's just like, let's drive. Where are we driving to? Let's just drive. After a while, it's like, where are we going?
Run out of fuel.
You know, something, exactly, that's a good analogy. You might run out of fuel, which can happen in a relationship. After a while, it just dissipates because there's no plan. They're not working towards anything. We don't know how our lives are going to converge, and we'll have discussions. So there must be that finality where it's like, you know what, this is what's going to happen in 2 years, 3 years. After this, you move here, I move here, or we move together, or I come. There must be a plan of finality, definitely.
Whoa.
All right, well said. I trust you have learned one or two things as regards long distance relationship. There should be a final plan. Don't just keep it hanging. Don't just say, he's going over there to make our lives better. There should be some sort of plan so that everyone can be together. The big picture, everyone is happy, one big family eventually.
Exactly.
Right,
But then before we go, let's have your social media handle.
You can keep in touch with me. Instagram, Twitter, I am that PJ. That's one word, I am that PJ. That's the way to get contact.
Okay. That was interesting with PJ, but we'll call him Jimmy Dukoya. Thank you so much for coming to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
And earlier we had Viola Salami, Executive Business and Life Coach, as well as Daria Kinlajan, Learning Architect, who told us about Speak Like a Champion. And to you out there who sat back to join us, of course, we'll be doing the same time again tomorrow when we'll do entertainment. Do not forget, it's going to be live and interesting. Okay, pull the curtain here. I'm Uche Onyeko. Do have a splendid day ahead.
And I'm Justin Akadomie. Let's do it again.